In this video, I share my personal journey from sobriety to one of exercise, running, and fitness. Discover how I transformed my life to a new physique and a new lease on life by adopting a healthy lifestyle and healthy habits. Join me as I discuss the powerful connection between sobriety, physical activity, and overall well-being. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm speaking to you about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that is sobriety and running and fitness. This is a story I never thought I'd share on the YouTubes, but here we are. It's the most personal video that I've produced to date, and it's one that really means a lot to me. This is a story of transformation from addiction to fitness. Check out my before and after pictures before I started running on a regular basis. It's been quite a ride, let me tell you. Before we dive into the details, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicole. I'm an educator, and I'm trying to monetize my YouTube channel to help me pay for a master's degree so that I can become a better educator. If this sounds like something that you can get behind, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and help me monetize my channel. I'm here to talk to you today about my struggles with addiction and then overcoming addiction and living in recovery and how I found solace in fitness. It wasn't an easy journey, but it has been one that's been worthwhile, for sure. There are a lot of challenges to getting sober. First off, I started drinking at a very young age, at age 15, which I've heard stories of people who start much younger. But for me, it's my story. I started at 15 years old. And the reasons why I started drinking was pretty simple, actually. This is a time when you're supposed to be learning about yourself and your bodies and your emotions. And I avoided all of that by drinking through it. I didn't want to feel the painful parts, so I just drank through it. I also didn't learn the critical things at 15 years old, like what I like, who I am, who I wanted to be. And instead, I learned to deal with emotions and who I wanted to be just by drinking through it all. Therefore, when I got sober, I had to unlearn all of the negative coping mechanisms that I had previously learned and relearn how to live my life. This was the biggest challenge when it came to getting sober. What I found were some things that really needed to change, and I was ready to make those changes. Now, I could get into emotional sobriety today, but I'm going to avoid that topic right now and just focus on running and fitness and how it was instrumental to getting me through the early days of sobriety. Well, it took me about 3 years of getting sober before it led me to running and fitness. Let's just say for now that learning to deal with emotions and living life on life's terms was something that was new to me because, after all, for 20 some years of my life, I had been avoiding emotions and conflict and things that caused discomfort and pain just simply by ignoring it. I didn't talk about these things. If you want to learn more about emotional sobriety, drop a comment below. Let me know. We can talk confidentially about that. If you want some coaching on it, I'm cool with that too. For now, let me say that I had to deconstruct my life. I had to unlearn, like I said, the things that I had previously learned. Here's a funny story related to that. Funny, not funny. I can remember the first time that I made dinner without having a drink in my hand. And if you're not an addict, then that doesn't sound too mind-blowing. But for me, it was a really big deal. I didn't recall making one particular meal without having a drink in my hand because it went hand in hand, like eating chicken wings and beer. You know, these two things go together. I remember that first time making that dinner without a drink in my hand. I had to learn how to do things that I had previously done while drinking. Things like not tying my shoes. Things like meeting new people. This is still a bugaboo for me. When I meet new people, I do not enjoy small talk. I am an introvert. I prefer deep and meaningful conversations. And so I don't care what the weather is. I do care what you do for a living. But what I have to do today is try to focus on the other person that I'm talking to, not myself and my own awkwardness and discomfort. I get up in my own head and I think that the person's judging me. I get concerned about my own insecurities. And so what I have to do is ask questions to that other person. That does not always come easy for me. It's still something that I work on today. I have an action plan for if I get into those awkward situations, which is, let's say I'm going to a party, show up early, leave early. That way I can always say, yeah, I was there. But again, I want to focus on the running and fitness aspect of my sobriety. Along with emotional sobriety, you also have to take a look at things that you've done in your past and say, what can you learn from it? And one of the things that I learned was that I used to exercise. I was a high school and college athlete, so practices were a daily part of my life. And as an adult, I just wasn't doing that. I found that I was living a life that fit other people's ideals. And I didn't know who I was. I had to go back, unlearn the old stuff, and discover what I believed in and things that I liked, and live my life for me and not for somebody else. This was a major turning point. It was a major turning point when I recognized the fact that you used to exercise every day. That is one of the ways that you used to deal with chronic stress, exercising. You're not doing that anymore. Duh, this is what you need to do. While it sounds insignificant today, like a no-brainer, back then it was a major aha moment, a major epiphany, and I discovered that if I wanted to add that extra stress relief to my life, that I had to begin an exercise regimen, and that's what I did. Now, transitioning from a sedentary lifestyle to one of everyday exercise is not an easy task, and I had to start slow. Some challenges included overcoming cravings and dealing with my negative self-talk, doubts, learning to push past those doubts, and knowing that it was just a battle of my mind and that I could overcome these challenges. And once I began overcoming some of these major challenges, I gathered momentum, and it's momentum that still has not stopped. I made a pledge to myself. I got sober at 36 years old, and this pledge was that I was going to live the rest of my decades as if to make the next one better. So I pledged at that time I was going to make my 30s better than my 20s, which wasn't so hard with all the wreckage of my past. I was going to make my 40s better than my 30s, and I am tracking and trending to make my 50s better than my 40s. Stay tuned. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to guarantee that they are going to be better than my 40s. With this newfound life comes wisdom and just a better way of living. How did I start my fitness journey? Well, like I said, I had to start small because it was necessary. I wasn't ready to take major steps because after all, I had just gotten sober, so I needed to go bit by bit by bit. Once I discovered that exercise was a huge part of my life previously, I started making small changes to my diet. Of course, no alcohol, lean proteins, more vegetables, more fruits, getting rid of junk foods, mostly. I established an exercise routine that worked for me. And right now what I do is a mix of cardio and strength training so that I have endurance and muscle. After all, as I age, my muscle mass is decreasing. So every decade, I think the stat is something like every decade, we lose 10% of muscle mass. And that's another thing that I'm determined not to lose. In 2013, I started walking. I live near a community that is just beautiful. It's a 55 and over community. It's really well landscaped. It's got a golf course in it. And I just love to go there and take my time walking. But once I got bored with walking by myself, I started running because it doesn't take as long and it was also hot. So I started running. And then when I got bored with running by myself, I started running with a group. And the group is the routine that has stuck, and I've stuck with it for the last 10 years, going on 11 years. This year, I've added strength training and going to the gym. So I run 3 days a week, and I cross-train 3 days a week, but more on that in a minute. Through the run group, I have been able to complete 7 marathons, like 3 or 4 ultra marathons, many half marathons, and that's what we do for fun. Travel to new destinations for races and stay the weekend and cook for each other and just have fun, interact. I've also added the gym, and this is 3 days a week as well. I'm even entrusted with helping other people achieve half marathon and marathon status. So this is super cool development in my run community. So I run 3 days a week. I exercise 3 days a week. I recognize that this is a demanding schedule. Sometimes I double up on these workouts. I'm planning to tomorrow, but sometimes I just say, nope, not today. I am going to take a day off. And I listen to my body. And if I need to take a break, I take a break. I've learned that through the last 10 years that there's incredible value in simply taking a day off, but also doing things like massages, stretching. I have a hot tub on the back porch, and I love to take naps. Naps are a wonderful thing. I have to listen to my body. And the best part about the run community that I belong to is that I have developed long-lasting friendships. And I can continue to explore who I am and get support from my friends, be vulnerable with them, and I support them right back. So the results. There was a turning point that came when I discovered that I could actually pull this stuff off, that I saw significant progress, I felt better, I looked better, but the biggest change was with my mindset. The moment that I realized that I was capable of achieving these monumental goals, like running across the state, like completing more than 26.2 marathons in a single day, hell, in 9 hours, was something that was phenomenal and unbelievable. Changes, both physically and mentally, were things that I don't want to give up. It's a switch that has been flipped and has never been flipped back. Some personal stories about this. Me and my best friend Tara, who I've pictured in this video, decided one summer that we were going to lose a bunch of weight, and we did together. We together lost the equivalent of what I like to say is a first grader, basically. I've lost like 40 pounds. She lost 30 pounds. First grader, there you go. Now we've gained a little bit of that weight back, but over the course of this, we learned how to fuel our bodies, proper nutrition for the demanding schedule that we have. We have to have a lot of calories to keep up with the training, especially as we get closer to race day. Tara and I have formed a lasting friendship, and we have crossed state lines together while on our feet, and we will continue to cross finish lines as we transition into older age. Now, the best part about adopting a life of fitness and running is the fact that it supports my sobriety. They go hand in hand. The reasons that I drank are complex, and I drank to avoid emotions, I drank to avoid conflict, and I basically drank to avoid growing up and being a responsible adult. Since I never dealt with emotions, I frequently found myself in situations that I did not approve of, all because I was afraid to be my true and authentic self. Since gaining sobriety, I am comfortable in my own skin, and I do not seek the approval of others. I seek the approval of myself and try to make myself happy. Running and fitness are a huge part of this. It forces me to be in a good mood. Forces, you say? Yes. I release endorphins when I run, feel good, stress relievers, and I also get a huge dopamine hit. So if I'm running early in the morning, it's difficult to be in a bad mood the rest of the day, though I do pull it off sometimes. Sobriety and running help me keep perspective. Each are a constant reminder of how fortunate I am that I can move my body without pain. I can spend time with my friends. Getting up that hill today makes tomorrow's hill a little less difficult. That's pretty cheesy, but it's the truth. To conclude, running and fitness has completely transformed my life. I'm giggling because I just said transformed my wife. It's not just about looking good, but it's also about feeling good inside and out. The positive impact it's had on my mental health and my mental well-being are innumerable. I'm now a happier and healthier version of myself, and I am my true and authentic self. I owe it all to my sobriety, my higher power, and embracing this new lifestyle. All right, if you've been on a similar fitness journey, let me know in the comments. And if you're trying to get sober, drop a comment. Don't do it alone. I would love to hear from you. And reminder, Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I just got the news yesterday that I got accepted into my master's program, so I'll be beginning in August, trying to get monetization before that day. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.